Everything you've been told about inflation is wrong, man. Other than here, of course. All right, so I'm not sitting on the pot just as some people say, you're sitting on the pot. No, I'm just down in the basement trying to burn some of this bread calories off because I've been making bread and I'm starting to get good at it. No other way around that. Oh, it's good. Of course, bread's not good, but it tastes good and it smells good. Oh, I think I'm Italian. I think I'm Italian by genes. I think I was probably raised in, Milan or something like that. Florence. No, wait, there's a major Italian city my daughter went to that sound heavenly for food. Oh, man. Italian food. Oh, I love you. All right, anyway, so I was reading an article about Cuba. All right, Cuba is going to open up to private market economy. In theory, man. I mean, commies are still going to commie, but, Cuba's just, it's a basket case. Castro's gone. Is Raul still alive? I don't know, but, they're partying with Satan down there, and Saddam. You know what I'm talking about? Satan and Saddam? Put a yes if you know what I'm talking about in the comments. Yes, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, and so they're going to open up the economy to private enterprises, which is fantastic. And the reason for that is because, according to the commie numbers, which is going to be 10 times worse than this, their GDP contracted by 11%. All right, so GDP contracts. That's deflation, isn't it? GDP contracting. Well, scarcity on basic food and supplies, basic food staples, I should say. So you have a contracting GDP and you have scarcity. Why do you have scarcity? Because there's no incentive or no ability for people to create products for the demand. So you have a shrinking economy, and you have, what does that do for inflation? A shrinking economy, you say, well, it's deflation. The economy's contracting. No, it's not deflation. It's inflationary. Because if you have a freaking thing of bread and no one else has bread, even if the economy is contracting, you're going to get a premium for your bread. That's inflationary. This is why the whole thing, I'm telling you, man, look, I'm just some dude in my basement, a t-shirt with 2 dogs, run around, you know what I'm saying? Hell, I don't even freaking shower half the time. I do, but I'm just giving you, but this whole idea of inflation and the macroeconomic perspective it's always just annoying me to. Okay, so if you have inflation, we turn on interest rates to shut down inflation. If you have too much employment, we make interest rates higher to shut down inflation. And then when you have deflation, we lower interest rates to increase inflation. The whole thing's just nuts. As macroeconomics is just silly. Macroeconomics is turd sandwich, no other way around it. In the real world, you have deflation, i.e. a contraction of the economy, and then you have inflation because of government regulations. Venezuela, right there, perfect example. Cuba, right there, perfect example. The prices of basic goods are going through the roof, man, because there aren't any. And yet the contraction of not the monetary supply, I guess it could be the monetary supply, but the contraction of the economy exists. That doesn't happen in macroeconomics. Macroeconomics says that can't happen. You have a contraction of the economy, you should have a decline in prices, i.e. deflation. You don't see that, man. You see inflation of the prices. It's just a simple stuff, not rocket science. And even if you have a contraction of the economy or not, the facts are when you have a supply chain breakage, i.e. toilet paper here, it's going to be inflationary too, regardless of the growth of the economy. That's what frustrates me so much. People, actually, I don't think that many people do, but at least not here on our channel. But people have this tendency to say inflation is this. It's almost like I need a retirement number. There's no such thing. Inflation isn't this number. Inflation is I want to pay X for this loaf of bread, but unfortunately it's scarce, so I have to pay X, square, if that makes sense. Or I have to go to black market to get it because bread is illegal. And of course, the more illegal it is, the more expensive it's going to be the black market because of the risk of being thrown in jail by the mask enforcers and whatnot. That's inflationary. Why? Because scarcity. Why is there scarcity? Because it's hard to get the wheat. It's hard to get the yeast. It's hard to get clean water, all that stuff. And just because you have a contraction of the monetary supply, or I keep saying that, it's not even a contraction of the monetary supply. A contraction of the economy does not mean it's deflationary. It doesn't. The fact is the exact opposite. Inflation is because government regulation creating scarcity. That's inflationary. That is so this whole thing, look, are you smarter than Milton Friedman? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying we've been so trained to believe inflation is too much money chasing too few goods. Well, okay, that might be a cause, but what's the Well, that might be a result, I should say, but what's the cause? The cause is scarcity. Government regulation creating scarcity for things that you need. And if there's scarcity, you're going to pay more. That's inflationary. It has nothing to do with the economic output. It has to do with the facts that we have too few goods being produced because of government regulation. Cuba, 11% drop in GDP in scarce products. They cannot feed their people, and as such, the people who have some resources, i.e. the government entities and whatnot, are going to have the ability to buy those scarce products for a premium, and then everybody else is screwed. And you'll sell your kids to get those scarce products. But at the end of the day, people will pay whatever they can to live. And that means that is inflation, regardless of what's happening to the economy. Hope this makes sense. Love to hear your comments. Thanks now.